Hi ladies and gentlemen, I'm Renee Springstead with Fross and Fross Wealth Management and your September 24th market commentary. As always, please take a minute and read the important disclosures contained in this email right below the video link. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to dive right into all the buzz going around in the financial markets right now, and that is the move that the Federal Reserve made last week. And yep, this is that long anticipated, I think they've been talking about it for almost a year right now. Was it going to be 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 time rate cuts in 2024? Were they going to do it by 0.25%, 0.5%? Was it going to be before the election or after the election? Well, suspense is over. We know the Federal Reserve cut interest rates by 0.5 percentage point last Wednesday. And this bold move signals that the Federal Reserve is starting to feel pretty confident about taming inflation. This was their #1 mission that they had, and they're now focusing on keeping the jobs market healthy. And this is a really important component with things. They want to achieve that soft landing, and that's the balance between bringing down inflation and not making us go into a recession. And so as we go ahead and we break down this move that the Federal Reserve made, we take a look and we see that the Federal Reserve lowered interest rates from their 2-decade high and brought them down to about 4.9%. And this was a very decisive cut, doing the 0.5 point cut. And the projections are starting to suggest that they are now thinking of a faster pace of rate reductions than were previously expected. Officials are now eyeing an additional 0.5 point cut before the end of the year, and Jay Powell alluded to this some in his meeting notes, with an emphasis that they were going to go ahead and take it meeting by meeting so that they feel confident that inflation is really on the decline and we don't see any rebound inflation like we saw in the 70s. So now if we go ahead and we look at what kind of impact this could have on the economy, we see high interest rates as a double-edged sword. For retirees, they've been really nice, right? You've been able to go out and get CDs and high interest money markets and be a saver, but yet still make money. The flip side of that is for the borrowers, right? Higher interest rates mean higher interest rates on credit cards, car loans, mortgages, and so it becomes more expensive to borrow money. And so therefore people start spending less money and it starts to dampen the demand. And it can even go ahead and see things like companies starting to put a brake on hiring. And this is where that Federal Reserve is walking that tightrope, where they're trying to cool inflation down, but without pushing the economy into a recession, because it's something we would absolutely like to avoid. And the markets, what they're looking at is the key question is how much is the Federal Reserve going to cut interest rates over this entire cycle? And how are these lowering rates impact the economy? So now that that first cut has happened and we got that out of the way, the Fed's going to be looking for signs that their rate cut was the right move. Do they see personal income and spending figures starting to go ahead, and are they cooling? Are people starting to decrease? Are they ending their spending spree? And if so, what's going to happen with businesses, right? Because if people aren't spending as much money, then their profits are going to go ahead and slow down as retail spending decreases. So the stability of the labor market is also going to be coming into play, especially if we start seeing more layoffs like we just saw over the weekend with the announcement from General Motors that they were going to start laying off. So it really was an interesting week last week in the markets. And if you have any questions about it, as always, please feel free to reach out to us. And of course, if you are listening from Florida, at this point, you probably know that there's a potential hurricane brewing out there in the Gulf. And this is something that we really need to be mindful of. So please tune into the local weather forecasters and stay safe and dry. Thank you and have a wonderful week.